Hey, what's going on? Aaron Bennett here. In this video, I am going to talk about Celsius Network and also what's happening with FTX and Binance. There is some major drama happening, mostly on Twitter, and I'm going to talk about what I think about it, also how this could affect a possible buyout or a bid from FTX. Could Binance kind of step in instead of FTX, and give you just kind of general overview of what's going on here. So hopefully this is a short video. What I want to start out right here, this is a tweet saying, those who are confused about FTX and FTT, now FTT is the token that FTX uses to lower transaction fees. So let me read this and also, again, show you how it's literally the same thing as the Celsius flywheel, or very similar. So it starts out, FTX prints their native token FTT right here out of thin air. Then FTX lends that token, FTT, to Alameda Research. So Alameda Research is the investment arm of Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX. So they are very interconnected. So again, FTX prints and then lends FTT to his own company. Then here's the sticky part. Alameda Research borrows USD stablecoins against FTT, which they can print out of thin air. So then Alameda Research sends that money that they borrowed to FTX, and then they can get more money from investors because it looks like they have more money. Now, the interesting part here is who is taking FTT token as collateral, who are then giving USD stablecoins to Alameda. Now that's the part that I'm a little confused about. Who would be accepting that? I will talk about what CZ at Binance is literally doing. They just sent $500 million or so of FTT over to Binance. They're probably going to sell it. So I'll cover that, and again, I'll tie this back into Celsius as well. But this flywheel, which I know that word is triggering for a lot of us, especially who are in Celsius. So this flywheel does apply to Celsius as well. Essentially, Celsius created tokens, and then most likely Celsius was using some tokenomics or using some pumpamentals to pump the price of Cell token. That looks like their balance sheet is getting bigger, right? And then they show those gains to investors and say, hey, we have whatever, a couple $1 billion of value in our balance sheet. And then Celsius raises cash through equity sales or loans. For example, they got, like a few $1 billion from different outside investors, Tether, the Canadian pension fund. So the same principle that most likely happened with Celsius is happening with FTX. They're creating their own token, and then they are basically using their own token, FTT, which again, Celsius has Cell token. They're using that to essentially pump up their balance sheet. I know that Alex was talking, I think last year, about using their Cell token that was locked in Treasury to use as collateral to basically get more money and get more loans. That's essentially what FTX was doing with their token. So now let's get to the drama of CZ Binance. So CZ, obviously the CEO of Binance, here's what he said. As part of Binance's exit from FTX equity last year, Binance received roughly $2.1 billion equivalent in cash, so their own native stablecoin BUSD, and FTT. So what CZ meant about Binance's exit from FTX liquidity is described right here. It says a lot of people don't know this, but CZ actually incubated FTX 2 years ago. They wouldn't be here today without Binance. It goes on to say, a year ago, Binance decided to cash out, and it turns out they were paid $2.4 billion by Sam in Tether and FTT. It says that we know that Sam desperately needed to keep the value of FTT inflated in order to continue attracting outside investors with inflated valuations. So again, similar to what Celsius may have been doing with their own Cell token, saying that this is how much money they have on their balance sheet, but really they owned most of the supply because it was locked in their treasury, and they were possibly using investor funds to pump the price of Cell token higher. Again, this is all stuff that the Examiner is going to be looking into. So back to the tweet from CZ, and again, this is from yesterday, November 6th. Due to recent revelations that have come to light, we have decided to liquidate any remaining FTT on our books. We will try to do so in a way that minimizes market impact. Due to market conditions and limited liquidity, we expect this will take a few months to complete. Now back here with the summary, he says apparently Alameda, again FTX's investing arm, offered to buy all of Binance's FTT in a closed door deal for $22 per coin taking a look at the price now, it is hovering just around $22. And what he says is because if CZ sells it all in the open market, the price of FTT will begin to fall. And again, CZ said that it could take a few months to complete selling because they do not want to crash the market. And taking a look at Simon Dixon's Twitter, he retweets a whale alert where $584 million worth of FTT are transferred from an unknown wallet to Binance. This is the beginning of selling all of Binance's FTT tokens. And Simon says about what CZ just posted, this is serious to react like this from CZ Binance. Simon has been in this space again for, I think, over a decade. Since 2011 is when he first spoke at a conference. So yeah, that's over a decade. So he's known CZ, at least peripherally, for a while. They may actually be friends, I don't know. But he knows that this is a big deal for CZ to post something like this saying, hey, we are basically cutting ties with FTX and with Sam Bankman-Fried. They're realizing that the balance sheet of FTX is mostly FTT token, which they print out of thin air and which is pretty illiquid because I believe 99% of FTT tokens are held by FTX. So if FTX needed to sell FTT tokens to raise cash, the price of FTT would drop like a rock because there's just no liquidity and there are just no buyers out there. And there were some stories last week that basically went over this, showing that FTX did not have much on their balance sheet other than FTT. I believe they had some Solana and a few other coins as well, but I believe their largest holding in USD value on their balance sheet was FTT token. So people are realizing this, and I believe this was a leak. This wasn't supposed to come out, but somebody leaked it. So now we're getting CZ at Binance being like, you know what, for whatever reason, we don't know the full story, obviously, but hey, we are going to cut ties, and we kind of just want to get rid of FTT on our books. So how does this relate to Celsius and a bidder? Well, we know that, again, FTX basically bought Voyager. I know there's a vote, so it's not completely confirmed yet, but most likely it's going to go through, at least from what I've been hearing. And there are some people saying that FTX is going to be a liquid and they are going to have some serious problems. I still don't know. You know, I would suggest if you have money on FTX, if you're watching this, to take it out of there and move it to some place where it's not a centralized exchange, just to be safe. But I'm not trying to create fear and FUD. It's just to be safe. So if FTX is basically a liquid and their balance sheet is dissolving, that would not be good for Voyager, the Voyager customers. Hopefully, if that were to happen, there'd be enough time to pull out of that deal. Again, I don't really know if that's possible, but I hope so. But at this point, we don't really know if FTX is going to have serious long-term damages from this. This may just be like a flash and everything may go back as normal. We don't really know. It's kind of too soon for that. But regarding Celsius, I mean, FTX has been the one that people have been talking about that could and most likely will put in a bid. And all of this drama around FTX, and you can call it FUD, or a lot of this is actually real, like looking at their balance sheet and realizing that their value is not actually, you know, like holding Bitcoins and stablecoins. It's holding their own printed token, which they can just print out of thin air, and it's taking loans using FTT as collateral. I mean, that doesn't look good from a financial perspective. So will that remove FTX from the running to bid on Celsius's assets? I mean, if it's as bad as it looks, then I hope so. And then, you know, we're looking at possibly Simon taking over, or maybe Celsius does a whole restructuring deal. And this is what I retweeted from Simon, basically saying the Voyager UCC tried to get behind a standalone reorganization of Voyager, but confirmed on this town hall on Twitter, it was impossible, as regulators said they would come after the new co, as it operated illegally in the past without correct licenses. The Voyager UCC concluded it was impossible for regulatory reasons. And then I said, if this is true, Celsius Network has no chance of legally starting a new co. And that's really what I want to end this video on, guys, is that all this drama with FTX may take them out of the running. So then we have some anonymous bidders. Maybe Binance bids instead of FTX. You know, we don't really know at this point. We are not seeing those things publicly. Those are behind closed doors, the bids. But all of this could be fuel for Simon to actually win this bid and to get his plan going. So we will see what happens, guys. I just wanted to update you on everything going on with this drama. And as always, I will keep you guys posted. Even if I am recording in a bathroom, I will get videos out to you guys wherever I am at. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, talk with you soon, and bye for now.